Coming up next on Making Moves, workers are digging deep to fix a north side roadway, forcing motorists into a weeks-long detour. Find out why it's necessary.
There are low-lying areas near the salt marsh that have a lot of muck and clay and organic materials that have to be excavated.
The Southbank is getting a shiny new luxury apartment complex. Find out how JTA played an integral role in the development. JTA was one of only 4 transit agencies in the country to receive the Gold Award. Find out what federal agency said JTA is one of the best.
Well, it is clear to me as a regional security director that the JTA, its board and its CEO have made major investments in safety and security that really is about supporting public safety.
The GOAT does it again. JTA driver Ramon Farfan proves he's the best in Florida. Again. And JTA's CEO gets into a feud with some local students. Find out why and who won.
We also have Mr. Nat Ford in the house.
These stories and more are all coming up right now on an all-new Making Moves.
Hello and welcome to Making Moves. I'm Bill Milnes. Glad to have you with us today. We begin in Ocean Way, where JTA is currently working on one of its final MobilityWorks construction projects. As part of that project, JTA was forced to shut down a portion of Alta Drive, detouring traffic in both directions. It's work, they say, that is necessary to fix some significant safety issues far below the current road surface.
Traffic on Alta Drive is being rerouted to New Berlin Road, allowing contractors to raise the elevation of the roadway in 2 separate locations.
Here on Alta Drive, north of Fay Road, we have 2 areas that need to be excavated to remove unsuitable materials. There are low-lying areas near the salt marsh that have a lot of muck and clay and organic materials that have to be excavated up to 20 feet below the final grade of the roadway.
The first location is just north of Fay Road near the Selena Plaza. All traffic traveling north on Alta Drive will be detoured via Fay Road to New Berlin Road. The second location is between Misty Marsh Drive and March Winds Way. All traffic traveling south on Alta Drive will be detoured via Port Jacksonville Parkway to New Berlin Road. JTA's CEO, Nat Ford, says the decision to close the section of Alta Drive and detour traffic was done in conjunction with the authority's partners at the City of Jacksonville.
We want residents to know that this required detour has been reviewed in depth and has been planned in advance with the City of Jacksonville. It allows the completion of critical work activities required to construct the Alta Road widening project safely.
Julian McKinley, JTA's Quality Assurance Project Manager for Alta Drive, says the unsuitable materials under the roadway is causing it to sag. Workers must excavate materials as deep as 20 feet below the surface to alleviate the potential safety hazards for motorists.
The reason why we need to set up the detour is because they have such deep excavation. We want to make sure that we keep the traveling public safe while we continue with that operation. By raising the roadway up to 20 feet to the finished grade, we'll be removing the sag in the roadway, improving the drainage, and also improving the flood-prone condition that's currently existing on Alta Drive.
Completion of this construction work during the detour will rapidly move the full project forward to completion, providing improved mobility and safer accessibility for the rapidly growing community far beyond the roadway improvements.
While we're doing the excavation, the deep excavation of Alta Drive, we'll also be relocating gas mains, water mains, sewer mains, add sidewalks and bike lanes on either side of Alta Drive, as well as improving the flood-prone conditions.
The overall Alta Drive roadway improvements include the widening of the existing roadway to a 6-lane divided road from the I-295 exit to Fay Road, a 4-lane divided roadway to Ash Grove Road, and a 5-lane roadway to Burkett Lane. The bridge over Dunn Creek will be restriped to accommodate the 4 lanes of traffic that will be utilizing the existing bridge. There will also be a new or an upgraded signal installed at Fay Road and Pork Jacksonville Parkway. The detour is expected to be in place until mid-June.
The $21.2 million Alta Drive project is scheduled for completion at the end of this year. The Southbank is the site of JTA's latest transit-oriented development partnership. The authority teamed up with Corner Lot Development Group, leasing nearly 4 acres adjacent to the Kings Avenue Skyway Station and Bus Hub for a new 4-story luxury apartment complex. Making Moves correspondent Vicky Gutierrez has more on the impact of Artilla.
Leaders will tell you this was so much more than just a groundbreaking.
Well, today was a culmination of a dream realized.
That dream is a soon-to-come union of urban living and ease of transportation in the heart of downtown Jacksonville. This is the future location of the Artilla on Southbank, leased on land owned by the JTA. Corner Lot Living, the company building the apartments, is calling this a real game changer for downtown.
What this means to this neighborhood is that this site has sat here for decades, unused, underutilized. It's one of the most strategic sites in downtown Jacksonville, in all of downtown, specifically on the South Bank.
Building Artilla is part of JTA's Transit-Oriented Development, or TOD project. The idea behind a TOD project is to give residents direct or nearby access to public transportation options. In this case, Artilla is located within walking distance to JTA's Kings Avenue Skyway Station and Bus Hub.
So as opposed to living far away from your job, far away from amenities, transit-oriented development allows you within a half-mile of transit infrastructure to enjoy a walkable, pedestrian-centric lifestyle.
Standing on a lot of just under 4 acres, Artilla will be 4 stories with 340 apartments. It will also have its own parking garage and amenities including a pool, 3 courtyards, and a rooftop lounge.
As you can see, this site is teeming with a lot of activity, and when it's all said and done, Artilla will address a critical need here in downtown Jacksonville, and that's housing. In fact, I'm told within a 2-mile radius of where I'm standing, there are 70,000 jobs. In other words, a lot of people who need a place to live.
Downtown Investment Authority projects that we're going to need an additional 10,000 housing units over the next 10 years, by 2030. We're making a contribution to the housing crisis of downtown Jacksonville.
Artilla is projected to be completed by the summer of 2025. Leaders hope that in the long term, seeing Artilla come to life will open the door to even more TOD opportunities that enrich the downtown area.
It makes good development sense. It makes good business sense because we want to see the city become what it needs to be and what it can be.
This particular celebration is about a JTA asset that is Montana Avenue. TOD is not just for properties that are owned by the transit agency. It gives you the very best of urban living right here near your home. And so that's one of the great benefits of transit-oriented development.
It's a benefit JTA hopes they see more of in the future. From the South Bank, Vicky Gutierrez, JTA Making Moves.
Another major award for JTA, this one for its safety and security efforts. The Transportation Security Administration, you may know it better as TSA, awarded the authority its Gold Standard Award for the authority's commitment to safety and security. JTA CEO Nat Ford accepted the award on behalf of the safety and security team. The TSA evaluated 17 categories of JTA security and emergency preparedness elements, such as its security plan, security training, background procedures, public outreach efforts, and drill and exercise programs.
Well, it is clear to me as a regional security director that the JTA, its board and its CEO have made major investments in safety and security that really is about supporting public safety. The assessments that we've conducted has showed that JTA is at the top as compared to other partners in terms of their focus relative to safety and security, infrastructure improvements, and that kind of thing.
The Gold Standard Award is the highest level of recognition from the TSA and is presented to a transit agency for receiving top scores during an annual review of security and emergency preparedness elements. JTA was one of only 4 transit agencies in the country to receive the Gold Award.
Still to come on this edition of Making Moves, JTA's GOAT does it again. Why JTA's Ramon Farfan is king of the road. The popular St. Johns River Ferry service was suspended for 2 months. We find out why the Coast Guard shut down this important transit option.
In addition to the ferry, it's all boats that have this requirement. We come into the shipyard, gives us a chance to look over all the equipment, inspect the hull, make any necessary repairs to ensure that the vessel's seaworthy.
Those stories when we come back.
Welcome back to Making Moves. The St. Johns River Ferry has been in dry dock for several weeks now, undergoing its Coast Guard mandated safety overhaul.
On our last show, we got a behind-the-scenes look at some of the work being done to the boat. But now that work is completed and the much-loved ferry is back in the water and once again shuttling cars and passengers across the nearly 1-mile trip between Mayport and Fort George Island. The JTA celebrated the reopening May 3rd at the ferry's Mayport landing with several dignitaries, JTA officials, Friends of the Ferry organization, and employees of BAE, the company responsible for the rehab of the boat, all in attendance.
Today has been a long time coming because if you're one of those thousands of drivers, walkers, and cyclists that use the St. Johns River Ferry, you're happy that we're back in business.
We were able to operate the ferry as the city of Jacksonville until the great day came when Nat Ford and the JTA took it over, and you all can see the results. I mean, compared to what it was prior to that, we were operating on a shoestring. It was in really bad shape, and it's not only the potential for a future ferry, which I embrace greatly, but it also is all the improvements that are not all that noticeable maybe that they have done over the past years to make the ferry great.
Ferry customers were thrilled to have this vital transportation link back and operational.
It's been horrible having to go on the highway and sit in the traffic every day. My commute has been about an hour and a half sometimes at prime time traffic. So this is a big deal that it's open again.
So yes, it's definitely convenient, but it's also a break from the stressful 295 traffic, and it's it's beautiful, really, quite honestly. It's a treat to take the ferry. Saves on gas sometimes when you're not having to sit in traffic in the afternoons.
And we like to ride over across the other side of the river, so we're just riding the ferry over. It's a lot easier than driving all the way around.
It's an easy way to get from point A to point B quickly.
While the refurbishing was no doubt inconvenient to these customers and many others, it was an absolute necessity to keep the ferry running safely for years to come.
In addition to the ferry, it's all boats that have this requirement. We come into the shipyard, gives us a chance to look over all the equipment, inspect the hull, make any necessary repairs to ensure that the vessel's seaworthy and that'll extend the life of the vessel. This machine is rode hard every day, day in, day out. And not only that, it's not just the length of time, but it's the cycles and the evolution that the machine is asked to do. High speed, low speed, high speed, low speed, forward, back, constantly. That kind of stress really puts a lot of stress on the machinery, and really emphasizes if you want that continuity of service, you gotta pay the piper and you gotta do the maintenance.
Meanwhile, during the ceremony, CEO Nat Ford announced the authority's plans to purchase a second ferry that would eliminate the need to shut down the ferry service for weeks or months at a time.
So while today's work is done, we're always looking forward towards the future, and the next phase of the work plan for the St. Johns River Ferry will be not just transformational, but it'll be remarkable. Recently, the JTA applied for $30 million in federal assistance through the U.S. DOT's RAISE grant program for the St. Johns River Ferry Regional Connectivity Project. It is windy up here. The Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, or RAISE program, directly supports local agencies like the JTA by helping us complete complex passenger transportation infrastructure projects. Over $1.5 billion is available in this program. We believe the St. Johns River Ferry Regional Connectivity Project will improve our connectivity, and these grants are perfectly suited for what we're trying to do. With these funds, we will purchase a new hybrid fuel ferry vessel with new docking facilities, a new ferry administration building, electric charging facilities, and other amenities. And this new ferry will help us maintain seamless transportation while we deal with the aging Jean Ribault vessel.
The ferry operates Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
If you're a sports fan, you've likely argued over who is the GOAT, Michael Jordan or LeBron James, or maybe between Tom Brady and Joe Montana. But when it comes to driving a bus, there is no argument. It's clearly JTA's Ramon Farfan. Farfan recently won his 5th Florida Bus Rodeo Driving Championship, competing against the top drivers from every corner of the Sunshine State. Farfan, a 12-time Jacksonville Bus Rodeo champion, navigated his 40-foot bus through 10 different obstacles on a timed course and did it better than every other Florida city's top driver. Meanwhile, Sherman Polydor took 2nd place in the state for paratransit mechanics, and JTA's Rick Ballard, Michael Piscanic, and Tommy Cruz took home 3rd place overall in the team competition. What a spectacular performance by JTA's team. Congratulations to you all. JTA's Automation and Innovation team recently took its popular AV Roadshow to North Jacksonville and the Ocean Way Middle School. In its first Roadshow of 2023, the team showed off its autonomous vehicles to students in the school's STEM program. The students got to learn more about this growing technology and how these driverless shuttles will be the centerpiece of Jacksonville's transportation network starting in 2025.
Learning more about technology and seeing how technology affects our daily lives. But then the other piece is getting them to see the importance of what they're learning right now and why getting good grades and doing well in their classes will help them in the future toward careers that they can get excited about. And then our kids having the opportunity to see what's really going on in this city. You know, Jacksonville is so huge and there's so much going on. It's an opportunity for them to really get a handle on things that are available to them in the city.
Innovation was also at the forefront of the Think Bold event at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in downtown Jacksonville. So it's no surprise some JTA folks were on hand to talk about some of the authority's bold ideas and projects.
When you're thinking bold, what you need to be thinking about is how I can get a piece of that $57 million for phase 1.
U2C project manager Angie Williams talked about the Bay Street Innovation Corridor that's currently in design. The Bay Street project will feature a dozen or so autonomous vehicles and will eventually connect to the reconfigured Skyway to form a 10-mile autonomous transit network into several downtown neighborhoods.
What JTA is doing right now, nobody, as far as a transportation company, has brought autonomous vehicles for service for public transportation. That is truly an innovative way that we are changing transportation in the United States as we know.
The first autonomous vehicle public transportation system here in Jacksonville, it would be the first in the state. It will be the first in the country.
Meanwhile, JTA's Senior Vice President and Chief Infrastructure and Development Officer, Greer Johnson-Gillis, talked about how JTA has embraced bold initiatives and ideas to move the city forward.
That's a bold vision, but you got to have the commitment and the passion to want to see it done.
And participating in an event that celebrates that bold vision is exactly where JTA should be.
Where we're trying to provide seamless mobility solutions for all of Northeast Florida. As that integrator, we thought it was best for us to be here to share with everyone our vision. There was no better place to be than to be one of the sponsors here, to be supportive, bringing our team members here to show that we think bold. It's a part of our DNA.
Feuds are rarely a good thing, but JTA CEO Nat Ford proved otherwise when he and some other prominent members of the Jacksonville business community feuded with some local students for a good cause. And when it was all over, everybody won.
Every year, we do a fundraiser, an emphasis on fun, to bring awareness to our schools that are located here in Jacksonville, Florida, and to raise money to continue to fund the programming for our students.
We also have Mr. Nat Ford in the house.
Tonight, this was in support of the KIPP schools here in Jacksonville. They do a great job raising up and educating our students, our young people here in this community.
You excited to be here tonight?
I'm ready to go. I'm excited.
It's going to be a great time for sure.
Our mission is truly about preparing our students with a college preparatory education that will help them lead choice-filled lives.
We know that we're going to win this. It's done.
And that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun. A lot of bragging rights and things of that nature, but it's for a good cause.
I have been so grateful for the partnership that KIPP has with the Jacksonville Transportation Authority. Mr. Ford and the entire team have long been supporters of our work.
So the partnership has been there for a while. This is just in line with support for her and this KIPP school team.
And when we return, a sobering new report from the U.S. DOT that may leave you rethinking going out for a walk. That story next.
Welcome back. We typically like to end this show with something positive, a fun event or maybe an award, but not today. Here at Making Moves, we have reported extensively over the years on how our city and state are doing when it comes to pedestrian deaths. The news has rarely been good, as Florida is the single worst state in the nation for pedestrian deaths, and Jacksonville has found itself high on the list of dubious offenders. Now comes this new report from the U.S. Department of Transportation that might just make you never want to leave your house. The report says that in 2021, drivers of motor vehicles struck and killed 7,341 people while they were walking. That's a 12.4% increase from 2020. For a little more perspective on just how dangerous things have become, 10 years earlier in 2011, the number of pedestrian deaths was 4,457. That's nearly 2,900 more pedestrian deaths in just 10 years. So the next time you get into your car or truck, I implore you, pay attention, watch the road, don't text, wait until you're stopped to change the radio station, or if you're impaired, use a designated driver or call for a ride. Pedestrians must do their part too. No more crossing the street at mid-block or walking with your face in your phone screen. Use crosswalks and crossing lights and never dart out from between parked cars. Hopefully, if we all pay a little more attention, we can all get home alive. And that wraps up this edition of Making Moves. We thank you for joining us and hope you'll tune in again soon as we continue to bring you the latest in transportation news, economic development, and all things JTA. If you want to watch any of our shows again or catch up on ones you may have missed, we welcome you to check out our YouTube channel. A direct link to our YouTube page is available at jtafla.com. Just click on the link at the bottom of the page. I'm Bill Milnes for everyone here at Making Moves. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there.